In what ways does your media product use, develop, or challenge forms and conventions of real media products? In terms of media text, conventions refer to a widely recognised way of doing something. For example, in a horror movie, the typical conventions would be stuff like blood, gore, and murder. I feel that my film can act as a challenge towards typical conventions, mainly due to my genre, or moreover due to my lack of a chosen genre. My film consists of several components such as thriller, psychological aspects, and romance. The impact of this causes a jumble of different conventions. Alongside dark, low-level lighting used to portray the thriller psychological side, bright, fast-paced scenes are quickly followed reflecting a romance. The juxtapositioning of these shots helps to highlight an unusual and quirky media text, which is something I wanted to pursue. Another reason why I felt I have challenged typical conventions of media text is my narrative. My film follows a non-linear narrative, as the ending of my film appears as the beginning, thus challenging the stereotypical route of beginning, middle, and end. This being said, I do feel that my film does follow some stereotypical conventions in terms of postmodernism. Postmodernism texts are usually very open to interpretation, which is a key factor within my film. I felt this would be effective in terms of keeping the interest of the audience. I was heavily influenced by a particular short film I came across called Desert, starring Ian McGregor. McGregor is seen simply walking down a beach and finding an iced bun. After popping the bun into his mouth, unexpectedly a hook pierces through his cheek and drags him into the sea. And with that, the film ends. A short, creepy, disturbing, and, in my opinion, fantastic example of a postmodern text. I mimicked some of the edits with Deserts within my own film, such as the fast-paced edits during the scenes of urgency. Moreover, I mimicked the theme of an unusual text which is entirely open to the audience interpretation. This is because I wanted to take on board the role of an active audience. This is when an audience is seen as more than a passive observers, but as individuals who are engaging specifically with the text and drawing out what they wish. What have you learned from your audience feedback? In order to get a more accurate idea as to whom would be more suited to my style of film, I conducted a range of audience feedback procedures. This consisted of questionnaires which I handed out to several individuals varying in age. Questions asked participants what they would most like to see in a media text, alongside what factors they prefer in terms of genre and postmodernism. Another similar task I completed was another audience communication task, in which I filmed a variety of people answering me to a number of questions surrounding film preferences. I felt this would be effective, as participants had to reply spontaneously, and would therefore be more honest in their answers. These tasks helped me to discover a number of things, the first being the effect of age on how much control the audience had over the direction of the film, meaning how open to interpretation the storyline is. I found that older people were less keen on open interpretation and unusual plot, whereas younger people appeared to be much more keen on a postmodern take. Furthermore, it appeared that younger individuals were much more interested in the concept of reading between the lines within films, which is a factor my film highlights. For these reasons, I was inclined to target a younger audience ranging from 16 to early 20s, as I felt this group would appreciate my film the most, as well as find it more engaging than older individuals who I feel are not so open to modern media creations. Throughout my editing process, I have made sure to invite fellow peers to look at my film and give me feedback on what they think. This was very helpful as it allowed me to pinpoint my strengths and weaknesses and focus on the sections which required adjustment. One particular comment which kept arising was aimed at my montage sequence being slightly too long. It was suggested that I could break it up by incorporating another glitch into Anna's reality. This is a comment I took on board and added to my film, a decision I was glad I made. Another comment a peer made focused on the sound within my film. I quote, "Maybe you could make the sound more powerful during certain sections, such as the glitches." Sound is an important element to any filmmaker's project, and I was keen to put this suggestion into play. So, during a section within my film, Anna experiences nasty flashbacks and threats from her reality. The edits are very quick. At this point, this is where I decided to create a crescendo of sound, which gradually builds up louder and louder, finally finishing to one loud gasping sound, followed by silence. I was very pleased with the outcome, and even more pleased that I was inspired by a member of the audience to help me. How effective is the combination of your main product and ancillary texts? I wanted to make sure my ancillary text, which consisted of a poster and a film review, complemented my overall film. First of all, I worked on my poster. Considering my film takes on board a dark theme portraying the delusional mindset of a young teenage girl, I wanted my poster to help emphasize this dark theme. I took a number of different photographs of the main lead, Anastasia, the majority of the pictures being headshots of her face. However, I made some of the pictures more creative by adapting the lighting on her face to create Rembrandt-style side lighting, which is when only one half of the face has been illuminated in order to create a split personality type feel. I put this image within the middle of my poster. In order to further enhance the suggestion that my main character suffers from some kind of split world personality disorder, I faded out another photograph I took and placed this one within the face of my main photograph. I also faded out 2 more photos I took and placed them in the background of my main picture. The overall look of my poster took on board a particularly creepy look, which relates to the theme of my film. Despite the creepy sections of my film, there is a proportion in which the 2 main characters are seen in a romantic montage. I wanted to bring this factor out within my film review. Alongside a few haunting pictures of Anna, I made sure to incorporate one image which reflected the fact that Anna has created his character, but also to show love and passion for him. Therefore, I used one of the lighter photographs I took of Anna and merged together lots of different happy photographs of Patrick within her face. This then helped to subtly reflect that Patrick is a happy figment of her imagination. From doing this, I was able to combine my main media product with my other pieces of coursework. How did you use media technologies in the construction and research, planning and evaluation stages? In terms of my research and planning, I used a variety of technologies and software in order to be creative and keep track of all my resources in an interesting way. In particular, I used software such as SlideShare, Prezi, MyMaple and SlideRocket. Using these sites, I created small Web 2.0 presentations and embedded them onto my blog. Any research material that I was unable to embed was still screen recorded, put onto YouTube and embedded this way. One piece of software I found particularly engaging was SlideRocket, which allows users to create their own short movie presentation with added animation for effect. The software allowed me to change the layout and the font style, including exactly how I wanted information to be displayed. I thought it would be appropriate to use this for my script and the rough outline of my film plot. In terms of film construction, I used the software Final Cut Express, which was a huge step up from my AES construction software, which was iMovie. Final Cut exposed me to a range of different video tools and effects, thus allowing me to be as creative as I could. Particular effects I was fond of included bad TV, speed modification, and colour corrector. All 3 of these let me adapt certain clips. For example, bad TV corrupts the overall footage, thus helping me to demonstrate my main character's fragile state of mind. Finally, my evaluation. My evaluation was created using iMovie HD, a basic and trustworthy site for creating short movies. I recorded all my audio and ported it onto the site, and then added in pictures and screen recordings on top. In comparison to the software I had previously been using to complete other pieces of coursework, iMovie HD is noticeably more simple. However, it is still good quality, and all I required to create an ideal evaluation of my A2 media film.